Fundraising, also known as development, is the process of soliciting and gathering voluntary contributions, such as money, other resources, by requesting donations from individuals, corporations, government agencies. Anyone can make a donation, and of course our museum will take it from anyone in any amount. But asking nicely is only one part of the process of soliciting funds. Customarily, you're going to have a relationship with a potential donor. Your post, for instance, located in the local community, you have a relationship with some of the folks in the community, either through your local shul, perhaps the federation, maybe your buddies that you go bowling with, whether they're Jewish or not. These are people you can talk to on a daily basis. These are people from whom you may feel comfortable requesting a donation. I appreciate the offer. You thank them profusely. Guess what? You're also a bit encumbered, because they'll get their turn, won't they? They'll come around for whatever program, whatever charity that they would like to represent, and they're going to ask you for that $5, $10 back. When you solicit online through any of the social media sites, you customarily have no relationship with the potential donor. So you have to build cachet, as it were. The potential donor, for instance, with our National Museum, is likely someone who's already got a relationship with the museum. You cannot throw out a Twitter, what is it called? A tweet out into the public domain and expect a reasonable response from the general public. But if you're associated through the National Museum by way of the JWV website, those people who have an affinity for your cause, Jewish war veterans, National Museum, they will see your solicitation. They will see you are asking for donations. And they will say something like, I'm a veteran. I'm a Jew. This is something I'm interested in. Unfortunately, most people don't just give just because they have that relationship. They want to know more precisely what their money is being used for. So if you give $10, in the scheme of things, where's that going? General fund. And a lot of people know this because a lot of people have given in the past. General fund. Anybody have an idea what general fund is? Maintenance, upkeep, personnel. But when you're talking about a place such as a museum with a history such as ours, you have to convince the potential donor that their money is going to perpetuate the history and the story of American Jews who have served the cause of freedom right here in the United States. How do you do this? How do we convince Mr. and Mrs. in Peoria, in Victoria, in Santa Monica, in Havre de Grace? How do we convince them to reach into their pocket and pull out that dollar bill? irrespective of the amount. How many have been watching some of the Olympics lately? You ever notice when they start to tell about a particular event coming up, they highlight usually an American, but sometimes a foreigner to us? This is the story of little Mary Sue, who's overcome great grief, great obstacles, and she's going to be running in this race. She hasn't a chance in hell, but you know what? She's here today, and we're proud, and the tears stream down our eyes. And we're saying to ourselves, come on, Mary, give it all you got and beat these people. Well, guess what? That's how you have to relate to the potential donor. You've got to reach into their pockets and take the money out.
You got
Nothing there. And the only way we're going to be able to do that through social media is by appealing to their senses all the time. We cannot simply tell a story of our museum. Hey, it's here, and come on down, visit it anytime you're in town. And we've got the stories of all these people. You need to draw out the information and give it to them. You need to ask them for their information as well. Be a part of our museum. Bring your story in, and oh, guess what? Yes, it would be great if you'd make a donation as well. My point here today is particularly to tell you that we need that relationship in order to get donations. Now, I happen to be doing online fundraising for our museum. And very possibly you're going to go back to your department and your post, and you're going to think about doing online donations for your post, maybe for another organization. That's fine too, but I'm going to ask you to leave here with the goal in mind. We need to develop, and that means fundraise, as much as $3 million right now, and then at least $1.5 million a year afterwards to keep our museum operating, but more than that, to maintain it as the preeminent facility it is, to tell our story. Because, Gary Lee, when you're dead and gone, who's going to tell your story?
I couldn't imagine.
That's right. Irv?
What?
When you're gone,
Yeah.
when Las Vegas no longer has Irv Finver to deal with,
Right.
Who's going to tell your story? Where is your great-grandchildren going to find out about your military service to this country?
They don't give a damn.
They don't now. But one day, their senior class is going to be going to D.C., and guess what? They're going to hear about our museum and go over there, and oh, by the way, my uncle, my grandfather, one of my relatives was in the service back in '04, served in a big WWW. Do you have any information on it?
They don't have too much on me.
And if they did, that youngster is going to go home with all that information. That youngster is going to go home not only telling his friends in his class that he's got a Jewish uncle, grandfather, great-grandfather who served, but now he's going to motivate the rest of his family to get involved. Multiplication is the name of the game. I'm not going to tell you about direct mail fundraising because you all know what that is. You know about political fundraising ad nauseum. I'm going to tell you a little bit about grassroots fundraising, and that's where we're at. Down in the trenches with our posts. This is where you know the people who live in your community. And these are the ones you're going to talk to more frequently on a daily basis. These are the ones you have to motivate to give generously. And these are the people I want you to know how to talk to. That's going to be your grassroots effort, and that's going to be a direct fundraising effort. But then you're going to go online. You're going to connect to our JWV website, and through that you're going to see a little line up there that says National Museum of American Jewish Military History. You're going to press on that button, and hopefully we have a button beneath that that says donate. The idea of having a website for your post, for your department, connected through the JWV to our museum is going to help, because you're going to tell your friends about this. And they're going to say, oh, post 6284 in Podunk has its own website. Let's see who's there. And they're going to go there and they're going to play around. They're going to find the national organization. They're going to find the museum. And they're ultimately going to find that donate button. So it behooves us to push them towards that site. The trustworthiness of the charity has to be unquestionable. And our museum, as I said, is a preeminent facility. And we have to keep it that way. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is with fundraising. You've learned about Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, your space, everybody else's space. I don't know how to use all of them. I'm on LinkedIn and haven't seen my site probably in 2 years. I'm on Facebook, and I get an email from relatives every so often. Hey, I sent you a message on Facebook. Well, why didn't you send it to me on email? So they want me to go look at my Facebook site. This is the way of the future. And too many of us aren't interested in getting online. That's the unfortunate circumstance. However, when you do, it opens up a whole new world. My 96-year-old uncle came into the house one day. I sat him down at the computer. And the thing that really got him to brighten up was when I called up the shtetl from which he originated back in the old country. And then I did show him our museum page, and he was just as delighted. He didn't know what to do with it, of course, but we can't wait till we're 96 years old, or 120 either. Our museum needs our help now. It has an online presence. Remember, too, that online fundraising requires registration. Registration within your state, outside of your state. I guess all of you have been involved in filling out the 990 form at one time or another. You have to make sure your website is open enough to invite online donations. Always observe proper etiquette when you're online. You cannot take a chance on having your site or your message to the public look like spam.